Hello everyone. Isn't it funny how once upon a time, carrying a mobile phone meant holding a heavy brick in your hand? I still remember watching people pull out those chunky devices, and now we carry slim little gadgets that feel like mini computers. In less than a few decades, smartphones went from being a luxury to being a lifeline we can't imagine living without. They're no longer just phones. They're cameras, planners, maps, and so much more. So today, let's look at how smartphones have evolved and what that really means for us in everyday life. Looking back, the first big shift was in phones as simple calling machines. At that time, the primary function of a mobile phone was to make and receive messages. They were heavy, had antennas, and could barely fit in your pocket. Yet, people felt powerful because they could stay connected while on the move. It was a huge step forward compared to landlines tied to the wall. Those early phones may look funny to us now, but at the time, they felt futuristic. And that was just the beginning of something much bigger than anyone imagined. The next phase brought in texting and simple features that completely changed how we communicated. Do you remember typing out messages on those tiny keypads, pressing the same button 3 times for one letter? It was slow, but it gave people a new way to stay connected without talking. Phones also started adding features like alarms, calculators, and simple games like Snake. For many of us, this was the first sign that phones could be more than just calling devices. It opened the door to the idea that our phones could handle everyday tasks. And once we tasted that convenience, there was no turning back. Things took a giant leap forward when cameras entered smartphones. Suddenly, phones weren't just for talking or texting. They became a way to capture memories. Even though the pictures were grainy, the excitement of having a camera in your pocket was huge. No more carrying a separate camera everywhere you went. This changed how we experienced events, trips, and even ordinary days. People began sharing their lives in photos. And social media soon grew around this trend. The smartphone became less about utility and more about lifestyle. Of course, one of the most dramatic changes came with touchscreens and internet access. When the first iPhone appeared, it felt like stepping into the future. Browsing the internet, listening to music, and swiping with your finger made the phone feel magical. Apps started flooding in, and suddenly, here was an app for everything: fitness, shopping, banking, and entertainment. The phone transformed from a gadget into a personal assistant. This era redefined convenience, putting the whole world literally at our fingertips. And from then on, the smartphone became central to daily life. Finally, what we see today is a world of AI-driven smart devices. Phones now recognize our faces, predict our needs, and connect to other smart gadgets in our homes and cars. They're not just tools anymore. They've become extensions of ourselves. From tracking our health to translating languages in seconds, they shape how we live, work, and even think. The smartphone has grown from a brick into a brain, and it's still evolving. The question is no longer what a phone can do, but what it will do next. And that thought is both exciting and a little bit mind-blowing. Thank you for watching this video. Stay connected and subscribe for the latest updates.